At 11:55 p.m. on November 9th, 1938, Heinrich Müller, chief of the Gestapo, issued an order to all Gestapo offices that began with the following statement: actions against Jews, especially their synagogues, will take place shortly throughout the Reich. Throughout Germany and Austria on November 9th and 10th, 1938, Nazi SS forces, along with German civilians, unleashed pogroms against Jews in what would become known as Kristallnacht, or Night of Broken Glass. Tonight marks the 83rd anniversary. Good evening. My name is Marnie Bondar, and I'm here with Dahlia Libin, and we have the honor and the responsibility of being Calgary Jewish Federation's co-chairs for Holocaust and Human Rights Commemoration and Education Department. We welcome you this evening. The name Kristallnacht refers to the glass of the shop windows that were smashed during the massacre. Torah scrolls were dragged through the streets. Over 1,000 synagogues were torched, and Jewish homes, businesses, and cemeteries were vandalized. Nearly 100 Jews were murdered, and as many as 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and deported to concentration camps.
Officially, Kristallnacht was launched in retaliation for the assassination of a German embassy official in Paris by a young Jewish refugee named Herschel Greenspan. Greenspan sought revenge for the sudden deportation of his family from Germany to Poland, along with tens of thousands of other Polish Jews. After receiving word that his family was forcibly taken from their home in Germany and deposited at the Polish border, Greenspan sought revenge. The morning of November 7th, 1938, Greenspan bought a gun and went to the German embassy. He didn't have a clear target. He just wanted to make a point that he thought the world couldn't ignore. When he was ushered into the office of a young diplomat named Ernest von Roth, Greenspan shot him. He willingly submitted to arrest by the French authorities and immediately made a statement about the treatment of Jews at the hands of the Nazis. The murder was used by Hitler and his Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, as justification for the violent riots of Kristallnacht, which started just 2 days later. According to the Nazis, Greenspan's action proved that Jews would stop at nothing to destroy the Aryan Germans. The only reasonable action was to attack the Jews first. Local police and fire department were told not to intervene. In the face of all the devastation, some Jews, including entire families, committed suicide.
This week, Jews around the world gather together in synagogues, in community centers, in schools, and virtually to commemorate Kristallnacht. We do this to remember what happened on those fateful nights, which essentially marked the beginning of what would be known as the Shoah, the Holocaust. The lack of outrage by Germans and Austrians and the world at large about the pogrom was an important signal to the Nazis, who recognized that more extreme measures against Jews would be tolerated.
Please join us now for a short video and candlelighting ceremony to commemorate Kristallnacht. After our ceremony, please join us and Calgary Jewish Film Festival for the screening of the film Love, It Was Not.
We light this candle in memory of the 30,000 Jewish men who were arrested on Kristallnacht. The men were marched into the streets and into the synagogues. Inside the synagogues, they were forced to recite anti-Semitic passages and writings from Hitler's Mein Kampf. Then the synagogues were set on fire, and the men were deported to death camps, where most of them died as a result of the brutal treatment they endured. I light this candle in memory of my grandfather, Martin Anson. On Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, stormtroopers raided his home and brutally beat his parents and grandparents. After striking one of the officers, my grandfather was arrested and deported to Dachau concentration camp, along with his cousin, uncle, and father.
We light this candle in memory of our Jewish people who were killed on the day of Kristallnacht, November 9th to 10th, 1938. 6 million of our people would die after Kristallnacht under the Nazi dictatorship of the Third Reich. The SS troops proved especially destructive to Berlin and Vienna, home to the two largest Jewish communities in Europe. Mobs of SS men roamed the streets, attacking Jewish people in their homes, burning synagogues, and forcing Jewish people to perform acts of public humiliation. Police records of the period show that there were a high number of rapes and suicides as a result of the violence.
Oh.
Got it.
We light this candle to remember the 7,500 Jewish shops that were desecrated, demolished, and looted during Kristallnacht.
As a further indignity, the German government blamed Kristallnacht, the pogrom, on the Jews themselves. And to further the Nazi movement, they charged the Jewish community of Germany the equivalent of $400 million. We are the descendants of the Krieger family, the Krieger family of our extended Krieger family that was living in Lodz during the war years, were shipped off to the Chelmno death camp, and we lost that entire side of the Krieger family.
We light this candle in memory of the Fasenstraße synagogue, one of 267 synagogues set aflame during Kristallnacht. The synagogue was the largest in Berlin, with a seating capacity for 1,700 worshippers, and it was totally destroyed during the night of Kristallnacht. Under the direct orders of Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi minister of propaganda, the Torah scrolls were desecrated and burnt. Goebbels and his followers watched as the synagogue burnt.
We are lighting the candle in memory of all the Jewish people, 6 million Jewish people, 1.5 million of them children. They perished in the Holocaust. They were murdered in the Holocaust. We are remembering all the Jewish communities, all the Jewish centers of learning and culture that are no more. We are remembering my mother's family, all murdered in Auschwitz. We are remembering my 2 brothers, twin boys, 2 years old. They were thrown onto a truck with numerous other infants and toddlers, taken out of the Warsaw Ghetto to be murdered in one of the many Polish death camps. We will never forget them. May they all rest in peace. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. Hashem Yakum Damam.
We light this candle in memory of our father
and grandfather,
Ralph Lewin. On the night of Kristallnacht, the synagogue in which he had just celebrated his bar mitzvah was totally desecrated.
We light this candle in memory of our father and grandfather who survived Buchenwald and for all the families whose lives were forever shattered.